were involved, the rioters, had covered their faces. In the latest video that we're playing out, some of them had not used masks. So this is a clincher. It will help the cops identify the individuals involved. Meanwhile, we have more breaking inputs coming in. This, in fact, is the reality of what transpired, the murderous attack that took place on the police. And this is an image that has been accessed of the senior police officer who was attacked by the violent mob in Nagpur last night. The pictures on your screens are of DCP Niketan Kadam. Remember, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, spoke about him. He mentioned about the cop in his assembly speech. He was the cop who was attacked with an axe in Nagpur's Hansapuri area last night. And we've accessed the images of the DCP who was attacked with an axe. This, in fact, tells you how this was all pre-planned, that the cops were attacked as well. And, you know, it's very clear the manner in which the cop was attacked using a weapon like axe. The intent behind this is very clear. We have Rucha getting us more details. And this was, you know, perhaps not in retaliation, as many are trying to say, or something that, you know, happened all of a sudden because of the kind of statements that were being made. It's very clear that an axe was used as a weapon to attack the police and the intent behind it. Rucha.
Well, of course, there are the opposition leaders who are saying that statements made by the people in ruling parties in the government has triggered this entire incident. But in fact, the protests that were being conducted by the Bajrang Dal and Parishad were peacefully conducted, and after many hours of the protest ended, this entire riot had taken place. So clearly, this was being planned while the protests.
We have Arunil joining us on the broadcast. Arunil, we are in fact playing out images of the DCP Niketan Kadam, who was attacked with an axe last night. It was a murderous attack on him.
Well, a very appalling attack. In fact, Swati, Maharashtra CM Devendra Fadnavis also spoke about it when basically on Monday evening there was a stone pelting that was noticed between two communities. Niketan Kadam, a young DCP in Nagpur Police, he tried to diffuse the situation by going on the spot, trying to calm the situation between two communities. But one miscreant, one person who had held an axe in his hand, he attacked the hand of Niketan Kadam. You can see he is profusely bleeding from his left hand. At present, Niketan Kadam is admitted at New Era Hospital on the 5th floor in Lakadganj. He is still recuperating from the grave injury that he has sustained. As many as 3 DCPs from Nagpur Police have sustained injuries, and more than 20 police personnel have also been injured in the attack that took place. Clearly, Nagpur CP, whom we exclusively spoke to as well, mentioned about the fact that it seemed like a pre-planned conspiracy because via social media posts, a mob was gathered in the Mahal area of Nagpur, and all the basically people who were part of the mob, they had weapons, like they had sticks, they had knives, they had axe as well, with which they attacked the another community.
Absolutely.
As well as police personnel.
Absolutely. Arunil, stay on with us. We also have Pranesh joining us from the news pit. The intention was not to injure or retaliate. It was clear what the mob wanted to do. Pranesh,
just that we've accessed on Times now. Arunil, our colleague who's been on the ground, has managed to access this. This just goes on to tell you the intent of the mob. So far, we've seen many CCTV clips that tells us the extent of mob fury, the number of people. They were armed and masked. But look at this. This picture is telling, this is so powerful, that all those people who are jumping the gun and giving clean chit to the rioters must introspect at the very least. You have a senior police officer, a DCP rank officer, who is holding on to one hand because his hand was attacked with an axe. Can you believe it? This was not some, ordinary protest or spontaneous anger. When people get angry, first of all, nothing justifies an attack on a policeman, whether he's a constable, inspector, and in this case a DCP rank officer, because every policeman who wears the uniform is a symbol of the state, and the constitution does not allow you to attack the state. Having said that, Look at the mindset with which this mob went about. They just did not target ordinary individuals and cars. So, you know, this is now going beyond pelting, arson, vandalism that we see. This is an attack on the state. What else explains this axe attack on this police officer? Who is going to now come out and explain this? What kind of a mob fury is this? You don't protest with acts. This is the mindset that we warn our viewers, you know, that Rahul Gandhi spoke about. You fight the Indian state. Is this that mindset? We don't know. But many people are now beginning to ask that question. This is not on. This is unacceptable, unpardonable, and the strictest possible action must be taken against these individuals. You cannot attack a policeman, no matter how grave the provocation is. If that is the case, you have other, you know, institutions, bodies to approach. You go to the court. No provocation can justify this attack. And, you know, picture this. On one side, you have this cop with a wounded hand, and on the other, you have people with swords. Now, I am sure you and I don't have a sword in our house. Ordinary people, law-abiding citizens don't keep swords. And this is not, you know, some artifact that someone pulled out and came out on the street. Arunil is also with us, Swati. He will shed more light on the specifics. But I want to, at the cost of repeating myself, that this is not on. This is unacceptable. And people like Priyanka Chaturvedi of Uddhav Sena, who've jumped to give a clean chit to the rioters, must come out and explain what kind of a protest was this?
Absolutely. Let me in fact bring in Arunil as well. Arunil, when you say that this happened because somebody gave a statement or that this was anger that was spilling onto the streets, you're only justifying the mob, you're justifying the riots, and you're perhaps also justifying the attack on the policemen.
Well, somebody giving out a statement on whatever issue it may be, but how a young DCP, a brilliant officer like Niketan Kadam, has to be blamed for it? Why does he have to injure his hand? This is the hospital where he is admitted at present, Swati. This is the New Era Hospital. On the 5th floor of this hospital, Niketan Kadam, a very vibrant, bright DCP level officer of Nagpur Police, who basically went to the Mahal area of Nagpur to trying to diffuse the situation. He was only doing his job, trying to curb the anger that was there between communities. And what he got? He basically got an axe attack on his left hand. You can see he's been profusely bleeding from his left hand. Immediately he had to be taken to this hospital where he is recovering at present. We don't want to disturb him while he is recovering. There is heavy police deployment inside the hospital as well. Like him, like Niketan Kadam, there are 2 more DCPs who have suffered injuries, not as grave as him, but they have suffered injuries, and there are 20 other police personnel from the Nagpur police who have been attacked with stones, with sticks, with knives, with axe. Different types of weapons were used by the miscreants in the part of the mob. We've spoken to all the authorities, be it the Nagpur Commissioner of Police, be it the MOS Home, Yogesh Kadam. In fact, Devendra Fadnavis, the Maharashtra CM, also has pointed to the fact that when at 3:30 p.m. the protest by VHP and Bajrang Dal had ended, 3 hours it was a lull period. How come a mob basically gathers like this in front of another community? Stones are being pelted, and when cops try to defuse the situation, the mob is ready with brutal weapons in their hand. They not only attack the cops, but they also basically forcibly enter into the narrow lanes and try to attack residents as well.
Absolutely. Let me also go across to Pranesh. You know, one thing that is very clear is that the mobsters, the rioters were not hiding their intention. In fact, we played out visuals, Pranesh, of how the stones that were, collected, gathered, filled up a truck. Their intention, they were not trying to hide, but the politicians giving them cover fire.
Right, Swati, and you know, we have Dr. Vikram Singh also joining us. I just want to, take this opportunity to bring him in. Dr. Vikram Singh, we have an image of an IPS officer, a young IPS officer, 2019 batch IPS officer, Niketan Kadam. He was attacked with an axe. Can you believe it?
I would not like to believe what I'm being told and what I'm seeing. I compliment Niketan Kadam for being absolutely gallant and worthy of his uniform. And apart from that, DCP Archit Handa Chandak also is injured and has also serious injuries on his legs and body. And I would say that the other police officers are also injured. Well, I compliment them that forbearance and chivalry shown, and in the being gravest provocation they displayed what is expected of an IPS officer and a police officer and those in uniform. But I would also exhort them to get the real intelligence and get after those who had the audacity to attack senior police officers and the policemen, indulge in wanton vandalism, setting vehicles on fire, attacking innocent bystanders and attacking homes and women and children.
Dr. Singh, I just want to ask you one thing, and this is only for the benefit of our viewers. Swati, please bear me out on this. As someone who served the police force for so long, I want you to tell our viewers, what does it take for a policeman to keep calm in a situation like this? The cops are armed all the time. Imagine you are attacked with an axe, but you keep your calm. The man had his gun, this IPS officer must have been carrying a pistol, but he didn't use it, only so that the situation does not escalate. But we have an ecosystem in this country which will still blame the cops. They are not saying one word against the rioters, people who violated the law very clearly in this case. Dr. Singh.
I must compliment you for this wonderful and an excellent question. Let the nation know and let society know that the policemen, though fully armed with semi-automatic and automatic weapons, chose not to react in a disproportionate use of force. Whereas ultimately, at the end, let me tell you, the practical thing is that people exhort the police officers to return the fire and to return violence by violence. The junior officers के हुजूर आपके खून निकल रहा है, आप एक हुक्म दे मैं अभी इनके भूसा भर दूं. These are the terms that I have seen in real life. It is for the IPS officer and the mature leadership that we do not indulge in wanton use of force, but controlled use of force, minimum use of force and proportionate use of force. But your question answers so many questions in one go. You do not have a word of sympathy for the officers injured in the senior IPS officer 2019 batch and all other policemen who are like my children. The DCP attacks with an axe is Niketan Kadam and also DCP Archit Chandak, and there must be very many others. I compliment them for the chivalry and their bravery, and yes, this is the forbearance. And let the people understand, had they gone berserk, you would have forgotten and be reminded of the story of General Dyer, but we are not made like that.
Swati also has a question for you, and then we have a video to play.
Dr. Singh, given your experience and your service, would you believe if somebody told you that this happened all of a sudden because of some statements that were made?
Nothing would be farther from truth. The stones did not come from heaven. The masking and the manner in which their identities were concealed, they were trained people to get away from the CCTV cameras and the police video systems. And it was totally orchestrated. I see an eerie similarity between Sambal riot and this riot. They were also fully prepared. These in Nagpur also fully prepared. The modus operandi is the same. And my advice to be go after the PFI cadre.
All right. Vikram Singh ji, thank you very much for speaking with us. We have Praveen Dikshit joining us on the broadcast, former DGP of Maharashtra. Thank you very much for giving us your time. Shocking images coming to fore, Praveen Dikshit ji, of how the DCP Niketan Kadam was attacked. The intention of the mob was very clear. It was not to stop the police or to injure them. It was a murderous attack.
Oh, this is a very serious development. And it appears that it was not only premeditated, but the targeted attack on a very senior officer like DCP is a matter of great concern. And I would say that not only stern action is required, but you have to find out who all the conspirators behind this are and also take or initiate action against them. This may be not only limited to Nagpur, but it may be in other areas also. So my appeal would be to maintain peace and at the same time identify those who are behind this kind of a conspiracy to disturb law and order and take strict action against them.
Can you help us understand, what the situation is when riots break out or when you have an angry mob that has the intention, of not just retaliating or hurting someone, but like we saw in this particular case of seriously harming, or perhaps, one can call it a murderous intent as well. What is the protocol for the cops? Before I take a break, very quick answer from you.
The protocol, as you are aware, is first they give a warning. If there is no respite from the same, is followed by lathi charge. If there is still no retreat from the riotous mobs, then further action as per the requirement, including adequate use of force in the form of maybe tear gas or firing as per the need. Because here there was an arsoning, there was an attack on the police, and therefore adequate use of force has to be
Mr.
implemented.
Dixit, thank you very much for speaking with us and putting things into context. We have some breaking inputs coming in. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis